getting there. Hey, welcome everybody. It is Wednesday at 7:00. It's time for Sci-Fi Distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth, and welcome back, Kent. Again, wow, twice in 2 weeks, Kent.
Twice in 2 weeks, yeah. I'm feeling
Wow,
pretty
what am
good
I thinking? What am I thinking? Crazy. Anyway, you've been wanting to do this one. I know we've talked about doing Starship Troopers for quite a while. I know we brought it up in other shows, but we thought it might be a good time to do this as a full-time, as an actual full show. But before we get into that, I think we have some news, and of course we have an update on the Kickstarter, so we'll get into that.
We have news. Let's do the news first. And as usual, as with all the news, I am very interested in hearing you guys' opinions. Good Omens is coming May 13th. That's neither here nor there. I want to start with Robert Duvall. Unfortunately, we have lost Robert Duvall. He died at the age of 95. Saying he passed peacefully at his home on Sunday in Middleburg, Virginia. Most people will remember him for things like the Godfather series, of course, and the Apocalypse Now. But I have to point out he did do a handful of sci-fi, and the most important of those was THX 1138. So, yeah, we've lost one of the greats, guys.
Yep. I mean, 95 is a good run, though. You gotta
a good full life.
That's a long life. I don't know what his situation was at the end, but he gave us a lot of hours of great of entertainment. So rest in peace.
Yeah.
And it's been a kind of already 2026 has kind of been one of those years.
It's gotten a couple good ones.
But I mean, I again, somebody at 95 passing away, I don't. Like I said, that's a good life. When was it? Catherine O'Hara died very young. That's sad. That's very sad.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all right. So, what else we got?
Wait, moving on. Okay, moving on. I get two more pieces of news. Disclosure Day, guys, put your tinfoil hats on. I should have warned you to get your tinfoil hats. Is it a movie or is it a message? The conspiracy buffs are having a field day with this trailer. Already, they've slowed it down and analyzed every single frame, every single sound, and all of the symbology in it. And they've decided that it's not a movie, it is actual disclosure, because I don't know why. Given that there have actually been recently, in 2022, congressional hearings on UAPs, it's little wonder that this movie is kind of triggering people. Even President Obama recently made an offhand comment about the existence of aliens. So I don't know, guys. Are you going to be checking out this movie? Disclosure Day hits theaters on June 12th. Are you going to be checking out this movie? And do you think it follows any real life, reality?
I doubt I'll go see it in the theater. I'll probably maybe catch it in the streamings later. I'm sure that probably some of this, it's real, is just, I wouldn't be surprised if it's fake leaked stuff from the studio to try to give it some, give it some credibility or whatever you want, or get people interested in it.
They barely had a prod. This has been going on for a while now. The conspiracy buffs have claimed that Spielberg has long had access to UFO information that the general public does not have, due to his working, he had J. Allen Hynek come and do some consulting for Close Encounters. So,
well, here's my take on it. I mean, if you want to distract from the e-files, this would be it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, really good point.
They would just release that information.
I love me some UFO stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's good, and I hope. Yeah, I mean, we kind of had this conversation in the past about the existence of aliens coming to Earth. Whether there are out in the universe, it's another story. But I'm very skeptical that we've been visited. Actually, but because
well,
it seems like the sightings have gone down since everybody's had a camera in there.
Oh, yeah, the Bigfoot sightings certainly have. All right, moving on. C-Dance 2.0. This is AI so good that SAG-AFTRA had to put out a statement about it. SAG-AFTRA is joining the industry in condemnation of ByteDance. Okay, ByteDance, just so you guys know, were the Chinese owners of TikTok. And they have released, not anymore, that's changed, but they have released a new video generator model called C-Dance 2.0 that has enabled widespread copyright infringement online. And you've all seen some. Rizzo, you've sent some to me. That's who makes those videos that you and I were watching of like Star Trek people dancing to hillbilly songs. Some funny SAG-AFTRA President Sean Astin is among those whose likenesses have been used in videos generated by the model, along with Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, and a gazillion others. The Performers Union calls C-Dance videos blatant infringement. I won't read the statement by SAG-AFTRA, but it's basically, this is, AI needs responsibility, and there is none here. Side note, Disney has also sent them a cease and desist. So I don't know, you guys, what do you think?
That's the thing. I don't know. And again, I'm not an expert on IP law and all that and copyright and all that stuff. But it is transformative and it is humor. Yeah. So
it's parody.
All under the parody clause.
Because they're using, so the statement says, the infringement includes the unauthorized use of our members' voices and likenesses. This is unacceptable and undercuts the ability of human talent to earn a livelihood.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's where they probably have certainly a strong foothold is the likeness issues. Yeah, I don't know again where that I don't even begin because I'm so don't know the laws and specifics. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Clearly, the AI thing needs to be, regulated in some way, and because it isn't fair that if somebody's either their IP is getting used or their image or their voice. Even if it's recreated by computer. So interesting. I'd like to see where this goes and where the law, falls on it.
It's legislation and regulation are always decades behind current. That when the VHS came out, nobody anticipated being able to record a television show off your antenna and replay it for others. It took the DCMA, like I said, 20 or 30 years to catch up with the technology. So something similar is going to happen this time. It's going to go. 20 years from now, the media industry will be unrecognizable because anybody with a PC and a large language model is going to be able to simulate a movie that is indistinguishable from something Hollywood would put out. And not now, you can always spot the fake or generally spot the fake, but in 20 years, it's going to be a whole different landscape because
absolutely.
And the regulations will just be catching up to what we have now.
Look what they've done already with the deep fakes. So I mean, yeah, you're right.
It's and right now, and unfortunately, you can't get anybody to believe this or think this way. But let the viewer beware. You've got to be critical of what you see on the internet. I can't count the number of times a relative has called me up and said, "Did you see what so-and-so said on the?" No, they didn't say that. That was generated, and it was generated on purpose to stir you up.
Yeah, it's one thing to be. It's one thing to do it's one thing to do a parody of, a funny song with some characters that we know, Star Trek or whatever. It's another thing to create false news or false,
Yeah.
and that's where we really have to worry.
Yeah. The SAG-AFTRA statement concludes Proceedings 2.0 disregards law, ethics, industry standards, and basic principles of consent. And I gotta, admittedly, that's fair. Is your face public just because you're an actor, or can you?
Again, we'll see. Well, this will be interesting to watch this one and see where it falls in the courts.
All right, moving on with the news tonight. Rizzo, can you please give us a very exciting update?
Well, the Kickstarter is, as you guys know, the Galileo Kickstarter is been going since last Saturday at noon. It hit the 100,000, which is our basic funding level, within 55 hours. So that's amazing. Okay, it's a little over 2 days. We had full funding. So now we're into the stretch goals. Currently, we are sitting at $121,774 to be exact. So we're trying to get to, there's a 150 stretch goal, a 175 stretch goal, I think a 200 and a 250, I think, is somewhere in there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Something it's in that range. But the 150, so each one will get us a nicer setup is basically how it's going to go. The top one, if we hit that 250, we're going to get, that's where we're going to put in that volume wall behind it, so we can put it in
and
space,
we'll also be able to do the
but the other thing is, part of it is we want to build the observation deck in the set tour. This will be how you get to the shuttle bay. So you'll go through the observation deck, and if you remember, it was only seen in a couple of shows, and they would look down into the shuttle bay. So we're going to try to recreate that, as if you're walking and you're looking down into the shuttle bay, and then of course you go through the door and then you'll be in the shuttle bay. So stuff like that, lighting, all that stuff to improve what we're going to have. So that's where the stretch goes. So so not only that, but there's some, don't go by what just they're offering right now. There's going to be some new releases coming very soon, of other pledge things you can add on to your pledge. So if you've already pledged, great. If you haven't pledged, like I said, even if you can't pledge a lot, any little bit will help. We really appreciate any amount anybody can give. We understand everybody has different financial situation, but there's going to be some really, really cool that I can't reveal right now. But there's going to be some cool stuff that's coming out that you want to keep checking back to the Kickstarter site, and on your pledge, and stuff you can add to your pledge.
Yeah, and I would also add that this Kickstarter, Land the Shuttlecraft, has been officially awarded or named, really, a project we love by Kickstarter itself. And projects we love, when Kickstarter names one of your projects a project we love, it gives it greater visibility. Like they'll kind of bump it up, so when new people come to Kickstarter and they're looking around, it'll bring new eyes to support. So I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to see this thing parked in its
it's a big project. I think we're all like, as someone is involved in it, once we get to March and it's closed and we know what we're dealing with, then the real work, the slab has been poured. We're hoping in March, April that they will start construction on the building, and then it's the getting everything together, and along with that's going on is we're prepping at another site the shuttle itself to be
back on display,
to be polished up and improved, doing little things we need to fix on it and stuff like that to get it ready for viewing. And then we got to move it from where it is now to where it will be, which I think that might be an event because we're gonna have to bring it right down Main Street like a parade.
I volunteer to fly it.
So anyway, that's kind of the update. So if you guys haven't gotten on the Kickstarter, please do. Like I said, if it's $10 you can afford, so be it. The
lowest one is $7, so that's very affordable.
Yeah, I mean,
and guys, if you've already donated or whatever, you can or whatever, please share the link and there's a million posts. Go to Project Galileo 7 on Facebook and share all that stuff. Share it far and wide, because the more eyes we can get on this, the quicker we'll get to our goals, and the more awesome, how awesome the finished product's going to be.
Yeah, we've got a lot of big names are tied to this, along with William Shatner, both George and George Takei and Walter Koenig. The Yakutas are on board. Doug Drexler's on board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doctorman's on board.
Dr.
All these
Alexander.
folks are going to be there either at the christening or at the June event. So if you can't make the June event, maybe try to make the September christening or vice versa. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we'll keep you up to date as it goes for the next few weeks as the Kickstarter goes. And of course,
What's the final date? Is it the end of March or
March? No, it's like the 15th or somewhere in there,
Yeah,
right?
hang on. I will look at it. This ends on March 15th.
Cool.
So 30
just about
days is basically what we
a month.
gave. Yeah. Yep. A month. So, okay. So what are we drinking? What are we drinking? Bug juice, right?
Of course, we're drinking bug juice.
So it's ice, obviously. Some silver tequila, some half shot of sour apple pucker, and pineapple juice. Not bad. I'm not a big tequila guy, but
I've never had apple pucker.
it's tart, so that's a pretty
Very
tart.
I imagine, given the name.
Yeah. So I mean, you could probably back that off a little bit, although a shot's not that much.
Mary Beth, think of a apple flavored Jolly Rancher. It's like that.
So
That's
anyway,
doable.
there was actually several drinks I could have chosen from looking through the web for Starship Trooper cocktails. So I was surprised that there's like, these movies don't have anything attached. This one actually did. So, okay, let's get into it. Starship Troopers. This is obviously based. Well, I say based. It's very loosely based on the Heinlein. How do you pronounce his name?
Heinlein.
Heinlein.
Book of the same name. It is, when I say loosely, it's very, anybody who's read the book and seen the movie know exactly what I'm talking about.
There's bugs in it,
very different.
and there's military in it.
And there's the word Starship.
The only similarities.
But this one was the book doesn't have a lot of action. It has almost no action in it. It's more of a
the
story
movie is radically different.
Yeah. The movie was clearly, as it came out in 1997, it was clearly made as an action film. It's very campy in a lot of ways.
On purpose.
Yeah, and it's done that kind of on purpose. It does kind of poke fun at itself and tongue in cheek. But Kent, this is one you've been asking to do. What are your thoughts on? You said you had thoughts, so
I have thoughts.
Hang on, before Kent gives us our thoughts, should we warn the viewing audience that we're going to be dancing around certain topics?
So we have to be careful what we say, because the AI algorithms that watch these videos and then ding us if we say certain things.
We use certain words.
So we'll be using the word fazzies in the words of, you can figure out what fazzies are.
Word plus another certain word put together.
Put fat and Z and put some other words. Yeah, you'll get it.
I think the dice game Yahtzee makes perfect sense.
Yes.
Like all right, Ken, give us your thoughts. Why?
All right. I am of distinctly two minds about this movie. As a popcorn summer movie, watching shit blow up, pardon me language, and watching the humans win against the bugs, it's a really entertaining, campy, fun movie, right? A bunch of 12901 beautiful people who would never end up in the military in real life, fighting ugly alien bugs who want to kill us. That's great.
They don't want to kill us, but okay.
Well, that's the flip side of it. But as I am a Heinlein devotee, I love his works. I admire the man a great deal. And this movie has nothing to do with the masterpiece that is Starship Troopers. The book is used in war colleges in the real military to teach cadets certain things about how the military works and what is supposed to happen. It is a political treatise. It is vehemently anti-Yahtzee. I recommend it to everybody. It's a short read. It's a very thin book. It represents the end of Heinlein's young adult science fiction period, where he wrote a bunch of stuff for the weekly serial magazines specifically aimed at young kids. This is the tail end of that. So it is an adult book, but it's meant to not inspire, but it's meant to educate young adults as to how they should be living their lives, how they should behave in society. It was a seminal book when I read it, and this movie is a mockery of it in every respect. Like I said, it's a thoroughly enjoyable movie. I love a good sci-fi yarn, kill the bugs, all of that. Neil Patrick Harris is amazing in this movie, but it's not the Starship Troopers.
He has a very small part, really. I mean,
no, but he's pivotal
because he's the only one that can really act.
True.
Besides Clancy.
Yeah, and Ironside.
Yeah.
I love Ironside. I love me some Ironside.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the movie is entertaining. It's if they had called it anything other than Starship Troopers, I believe that's how you talk about the Gorn in the new Star Trek Strange New Worlds. If they called it anything other than the Gorn, it would be entertaining.
Well,
if they called this anything other than Starship Troopers, I'd be fine with it. I'd have the T-shirt. So, but it jars against what I know and love of the book.
Yeah, I mean, I read the book years, it's been decades. I mean, I can't say I don't have the love of the book you did. I found it a little bit
preachy.
There's a bit of a chew to get through some of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good book. I don't want to downplay it at all, but it's not up on my highest list of favorite books. But I agree with you. The movie is entertaining on that level. It is a very good popcorn movie. I just rewatched it. I'm like, and it did hold my interest again, even though I've seen it. I think the laughable parts are, like, this is funny because my wife hates this movie, and only because of Denise Richards' horrible acting ability in this film. It's just, and you're right, these people don't fit into what would probably be more realistic. Her character of, I'm this like cheerleader type girl, and I'm this great pilot, and I'm so good that I can fly these shuttles and do crazy things with it, just because. And there's a lot of stuff in this film that you have to look the other way at, that just doesn't line up.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the boyfriend, the boyfriend, the other love interest in the dark-haired guy.
The other pilot guy.
He goes off like a week ahead of her to the academy, and then immediately he's her instructor. Like, isn't he?
How
like
people
things like that. Just like, I'm like, wait a
well.
minute, he's only like been there like a week longer than her.
So interesting point about the female pilots. It turns out that in the mid to late 60s, when the book was originally written, 59, I think, the military had done studies that established that women had better reflexes, better spatial relationships, and higher G tolerances than men do. So the natural projection of science fiction forward would be that in the future, all the best pilots are women, because they have those abilities that were tested in the lab. They put women in they had those higher tolerances and stuff. And Heinlein caught a lot of flack for that. He says, well, what do you mean you're making all the pilots are women? He's like, hey, it's scientifically proven that they make better pilots. So, why not use them in that respect? So what he was incredibly progressive, forward thinking about it was used in the movie to no effect at all. And there's male pilots too, because of the dark-haired guy who ends up brain sucked.
I don't know the characters. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
I kept in my head calling him Rick Springfield. It kind of reminded me of a young Rick Springfield.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
He kind of was a young
Treat Williams he reminded me of Treat Williams a lot.
I just kept thinking Rick Springfield. So anyway, this little stuff like that just kind of made me laugh. But again, I keep saying this movie is not that kind of movie. It's not that kind of movie, kid.
Not that kind of movie, kid.
let's kind of dive into what Paul Verhoeven here was. I was just reading about Heinlein. So Heinlein wrote. Heinlein was an interesting dude. He wrote this thing in 1959, Starship Troopers. It won a Hugo Award in 1960, but it was also harshly attacked for its right-wing vision of a world run by strict military order. But then 2 years later, he wrote Stranger in a Strange Land, which veered in a completely different political and cultural direction. So we can't pinpoint, we're not going to say, well, Heinlein was this or Heinlein was that.
Right.
I mean,
that really book is not his politics.
Paul Verhoeven was pretty clear. He said it. If you have the commentary on this movie or if you've seen any of his videos, it's really clear. He got about 2 chapters into the book, said this is, too right wing. He grew up in Nazi occupied Holland. So he was staunchly anti-Nazi and
I guess we'll use Ken's Yahtzee word.
Yeah, Yahtzee. He was anti-Yahtzee. So he was reading Starship Troopers and it was just leaning a little too far right for his comfort. Apparently one thing I saw said he kind of tossed it inside and then immediately started trying to figure out how to. And he does. He took this, and his thought was, I'm going to show them how sleek and shiny and pretty Yahtzee can be, but the people will see the horror underneath. Here's the problem, kids. They didn't. The people didn't see the horror. The people just thought, woohoo, shoot them up, space bugs. Like nobody got it. And that's why this movie is very controversial, and it confuses people. It genuinely confuses people because some people think it's awesome. And they don't really see what's going on.
Right. Speaking of the uniforms, as far as the actual not the formal uniforms, but the actual fatigues, the armor in those uniforms were repurposed in Firefly.
Yep.
They went right to the warehouse and they said, we can't afford to have our blue bellies, which is where they got the name from, to have new uniforms. So they went and they got the Starship Trooper uniforms, and there you go.
Slapped him on. Everybody riding the Dortmunder was the name of the big cruiser.
Yeah. So Verhoeven deliberately chose like white people. He chose the prettiest people for this.
Yeah.
The casting of Denise Richards was no mistake.
Yeah, and she was very popular at that time. She was getting a lot of work, and I think eventually people realized that she can't act her way out of a bag. She's very beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's just she's gorgeous. She's not talented in that way.
But he was using
and her
them
character I found irritating. She came across as very shallow.
But they all did. They were just like, none of them were sad. Like Buenos Aires gets blown up and their own families die, and they're just like, yeah, we're going to war. Like there wasn't any depth of human emotion.
Yeah, they did portray the Earth or under the government that it was as being more positive than one would think it would be.
They made it sleek and shiny.
Clearly, the parents were just civilians, is what they called people who were not considered citizens because they didn't serve. And they were educated. They were clearly wealthy. They were comfortable. So you got this impression that maybe there isn't poverty in this world, and maybe they've somehow, because in the book now, if I remember, Kent, you probably have a better memory of it than I do, but in the book, the reason that the military, the whole thing where you had to serve, was that this is democracy and everything was collapsing because of corruption and everything in the government, and the military basically came in and took over, and that's kind of how
you
had to serve. Like I said, it's been decades since I read the book.
So there was a war, and the war, as they all are, was caused by politicians. It devastated large swaths. The survivors, because it was almost an apocalypse, the survivors banded together, and the ones with military experience who had served came to the realization that moving forward, if you want to hold office, because it is a democracy, there are elections, but if you want to hold an office or help run things, you will have to have served in the military in some role. So it's a poll tax, if you will. In order to earn the franchise, in order to earn the ability to vote, you had to first serve the society in the military.
You had to
So-
be willing to put your life on the line for the better
Exactly.
humankind.
You have to serve humans in a protective role first, and then you have a stake in how things are run afterwards. You can't hold office while you're in the military. You have to complete your service. Then you can be elected as the mayor or the senator or whatever, and further serve the society. So it was a revolutionary way of thinking about serving, but it caught a lot of flack because everybody, well, that's too militaristic, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, nah, you can't serve until after you're out of the military. You just have to have served.
Yeah, I mean, it's come up even in our society where,
service.
you know, that we have, you know, if you're a president and you've never served, or, you know, you know, it's that, should you be sending men and women off to war? And you really don't understand what that means.
I thought I read during my research, and Kent, you can tell me, that in the book, 5% of the citizens who vote were in the military. The other 95% did federal civil service, so they were federal employees.
Right. You have to serve somehow. If you're disabled, for example, and you can't serve in the physical military, there was other things that you could serve and do, and serve your term, and then once you were out, you could then hold office and
service guarantees citizenship.
Yeah. Well, so they didn't call them citizens and not citizens. They just called them franchisees. You had the franchise or you didn't. Having the franchise means you have the ability to vote and hold office. And if you weren't enfranchised, then you were subject to the rules that the franchisees would put in place.
So let's talk about.
Let's go back to the film. I don't want to spend it all. You know, the book is the book.
And did pull those concepts into the film, but I believe, and this is just my opinion, you guys can tell me, you know, what you think, but I believe he actually undermined. I know he was anti-Yahtzee, but I think he undermined his own stance with one single scene undermined it, and it was the shower scene. And the reason why I think it undermines his stance is because, yes, the characters are all discussing what Kent just said. Why did you join up? Well, I want to do that. I want to go into politics. I want to have babies. I want to I don't want to farm. Whatever the other guy said.
Yeah.
But it also was very, very progressive, even for 1997. Like, look, they're all in the shower together. There's, you know, minorities. There's men, women together. No one cares. No one's playing grab ass. There's no sexual nothing, like no sexual nothing in that scene.
Other militaries in the world are like that, not ours.
Maybe others are, but ours is.
No, I can tell you.
I think it kind of undermined his point because the audience was sexual. The audience had big round eyes.
Well, I mean, it also was a little. I hate to be like this, but it's also kind of gives you a little. Oh, you know, there's boobs on screen, so.
Well, yeah, you're not listening to what they're saying. You're like, turn around so I can see. Yeah.
So, you know, they like to throw that in. But overall, I think, you know, I think the part of the most interesting part of the movie really is the boot camp series, where you get this kind of, you know, you got your typical very over the top drill sergeant. You know, I love the fact that, you know, they get that joke where they just keep yelling medic because, you know, he breaks one guy's arm, he puts a knife through the other guy's hand. You know, it's always medic.
We see anyone show genuine remorse for anything. Like Casper Van Diem is all broke up when that one guy is unalived by the laser or whatever the hell it was. He told him to take his helmet off and it unalived him. That's the only time we ever see anyone genuinely, like the entire platoon, but probably the entire company. Nobody cared when Buenos Aires got bombed. Like it just was so weird.
So, and again, to contrast it back to the book, Rico does get flogged in the book for the exact opposite reason.
Yes, Bill Sotak, you're right. Go ahead, keep going.
In the book, he, in a training exercise, takes a shortcut that in real world combat would have endangered his buddies unnecessarily. He broke a rule, took a shortcut, and in a real situation where you're flinging around real ordnance would have endangered one of his buddies. That's why he got flogged. And he said to himself, I am never going to make that mistake again. Right? So the implication that they're doing live fire exercises and somebody gets killed in training because they were stupid and took their helmet off or whatever, it's completely opposite in the book. In the book, he is taught a very valuable lesson about endangering your own side with your weapons, because in the book they have powered armor and they're flinging around mini nukes, right? So to teach them how to do that in a way that's safe for your friends and endangers the enemy is why he got flogged. Not we were stupid on our live fire exercise and stood up in the way of the machine gun or whatever. Another example of how jarring the differences are.
They pretty much made it clear that, because he basically, he made a bad decision that got people killed. And I think the fact that he told the guy to take the helmet off,
right?
This guy was having a problem with it. And he's like, well, let me see it. And the guy he took it off. And then the guy got, unalived. So, again, the flogging was just because they knew, but again, they could have thrown him out, but they decided that, what do they call it? Punishment.
He was salvageable.
He was salvageable because they saw that he had a certain, at least potential. So I don't know. Anyway, we got to stop comparing this to the book in many ways.
Yes, we do.
We got to stop comparing.
It just doesn't compare. I'm sure when they made it, it was for entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the boot camp scenes were entertaining. Clancy, of course, is our favorite guy.
Awesome.
It's always good with it.
Somebody said the movie bears resemblance to the book's back cover, maybe, but not to the book. And the flogging scene was just to show that it was in fact a Yahtzee society, because they use physical punishment and torture to to make people be. Although here's my question, and here's kind of the giveaway also that this is a Yahtzee society. How did the bugs, they had at best some bugs that shot plasma. I saw no technology on that planet, no bug technology. And some bugs shot plasma, but the rest, and one bug shot fire, and I don't know what the rest of them did. How did the bugs throw
an asteroid
or whatever? How?
Well, we don't know everything about the Bug Society, and clearly there's castes within the Bug Society. So at the end, we find out there's the brain bugs that are very smart and understand what's going on. The rest of them are just drones that are probably there's a good possibility that they were engineered by the brain bugs to do those certain things, to shoot the plasma bolts, to shoot the fire. So, they may have had bugs that could go into space and move. Clearly, everything is organic in their society. I know it's a stretch, but again, we're talking about we're talking about.
I know what she's getting at, though. She's getting. The powers that be wanted us in that war, so they needed something to cause us to get into that war. So it's a false flag operation. We dropped that asteroid on Buenos Aires in order to get us into the fight and give everybody a reason.
But they show us the galaxy, the freaking galaxy.
Yeah, they're on the opposite side.
Earth is here, bugs are here. Do you know the math involved in hurling a meteor?
Again, I think you're trying to. Again, you're trying to put logic to this film where it doesn't apply. It's like, why do in Star Wars the X-Wings fly like jets in air? They don't, because they can't. It's just
Rizzo,
but we just accept that.
Verhoeven was deliberately doing that. It was a choice.
It could be. I mean, choice for. I'm not seeing your point. What is your point?
To imply that the Yahtzee government needed us in that war.
Did they ever came out and said that that's what they were doing? That that's what the point was? Because that's irrelevant to me. Because it was never pointed out in the film, and it wasn't even relevant to the film as a story. That whether the humans did it to themselves or not.
I think the point of the film just went.
No, I think the point of the film was to make an entertaining action film, and it wasn't. I think you're putting more here than is there. I don't think there was that much thought into it. I really don't. Now, I don't know what. Again, if you can point to me where the director said, "Yeah, we are purposely trying to show you that this is a society, and that we're so corrupt," but I mean, I didn't see that at all. As far as I mean, it just watched the movie for what it is, which is just kind of a cartoony with a kind of a sub message of, I don't know. I don't think he was trying to make a political statement.
Great design on that. Well, the whole movie's a political statement, but
the books were.
No, the movie is.
The movie is.
Would you like to know more?
I mean, again, they were trying to. I know they were trying to build this. I get that they were trying to show you what the society was like at that time, but I don't think I didn't see any indication why you would think that they did it to themselves.
No, Paul Verhoeven did it.
No, I know what you're saying, but you're saying you're implying that the humans bombed themselves to start a war.
Yeah. It was.
But they had already but there was already an indication.
Carmen knocked it on accident and knocked off her communication tower. Maybe she rerouted it and accidentally, and then the government's just used that as this is handy. Let's use this to go attack the.
Well, no, there was already an attack. Remember earlier in the story on some colonists. Remember they said they went into the zone or something, and the
forbidden zone where they weren't supposed to be.
Weren't supposed to be, and they all got killed by the bugs. So, and that was before the meteor was hit the planet. So I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I just don't think that deep into this film. I just can't. It's just a cartoon. It's a cartoon.
It's not here. I'm gonna put a link.
Let's go back to the book. No.
It is what it is. I mean, it's clearly it was popular enough that it spawned several, 2 or 3 sequels. Now, I don't think
really bad sequels and an animated series. If
there was an animated series, yes. So,
and they did eventually bring in the powered armor, which was so central to the book.
Honestly, though, the joke was why were they using ground troops on these planets, especially Glendathu? Why were they could have just totally bombarded the planet.
Yeah, they could have glassed the planet.
And that would have been the end of it. I don't ever understood. That's where I thought there was ridiculousness. Why are they sending troops down there? Just glass the thing.
Specifically, troops with no air support either.
Yeah, it's it didn't make any sense because clearly the humans had better weapons. I mean, is more mini nukes.
Yeah, because the bugs had no weapons.
They basically had. They had numbers, and that's where they could overwhelm. And that's why I said clearly the most of the warriors on that planet were just drones. They weren't. I don't think they even had. They were essentially animals. They didn't think for themselves at all. So the brain bugs were controlling everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know how though. How it was getting data from a sucked out brain, but then again, it's a suspension of disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief. It looked cool.
It looked cool. It was kind of gross.
There's also no way in hell they survived crashing through the ground that way in their little escape pod. They would have plastered themselves across the inside of the windshield.
Maybe they had inertial dampers.
Oh yeah, sure.
Again, we can't. This is it's not that kind of movie.
It's not that kind of movie.
It's just not. This is more falls into the science fantasy film than it does science fiction.
Yeah,
because there's too much stuff that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and, fun to watch though. It was amazingly well done. The interactions between the bugs and the actors. I mean, they use CGI.
Oh, yeah.
It holds up.
Life-size puppets.
Some of it holds up.
I'll give you. I think a lot of it does. I can't really say that I saw something that was horribly that looks totally fake.
Right.
So, a lot of people get covered in bug goo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Either orange or green. I noticed the blood changes color depending on what they kill.
Species it is.
Oops, I said a bad word.
Oh, yeah.
What they unalive.
Get demonetized again.
We
Wait,
were never monetized
wait,
in the first place.
There's monetization going
There's
on?
no monetization.
Why was I not told this?
We were just lost our recommendation for too
Oh,
many
all
times.
right.
Bad words. It's not even. I don't even think it's the swear words. It's the trigger words of
The
the
trigger
internet.
words.
So, anyway, yeah. I mean, like I said, I when I think I first saw this movie, I was not a huge fan because I didn't really see it for what it was. I thought it should have been a little bit more serious, and it wasn't. But then when you kind of go, okay, this is supposed to be this way.
Yeah, it's definitely satire. It's the same kind of satire that shows up in RoboCop, the first RoboCop.
Yes, same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
Although
He's
it's
trying to make the
RoboCop
same point.
Yeah. Except that was on corporations.
Right. Same. The military industrial complex is the whole.
Well, it's kind of, again, it's like 1984 light.
Right.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I mean, yes, they clearly are trying to make.
Hey, hi to Jacqueline, everybody.
It's a cat.
It is a cat. This is Jacqueline. Say hi.
Do you still have the lizard?
Oh yeah, Reptar's over there.
And does the cat not bother the lizard?
Nope, he's in a glass cage.
That doesn't usually stop cats.
They can't get at him.
Okay.
It's an invisible force
are
field.
resourceful.
It's an invisible force field that they do not understand.
Okay. Anyway. So
yeah, super well done movie. It was prescient in a lot of ways because it predates the internet, really, and yet there's clicking on "Do you want to know more?" and propaganda films and all the stuff that we're sitting through right now. And that was what, 25 years ago? Wait.
Yeah, I mean, it's pushing. It's going to be 30 next year.
30 years ago. And
you can believe it.
That's crazy. He hit some stuff right on the nose. I mean, you got to hand it to the guy.
Apparently, this was Van Hoven's favorite movie that he made.
Wow.
Did not know that.
That's interesting.
Apparently, there was a Millennium Falcon on one of the backsides of the Starship. I have to rewatch and look for that. That's what I'm.
It was stuck to the back of the bridge next to the garbage port. So when they dump the garbage, followed by the unnamed Mandalorian spacecraft.
That was never named in the movies.
True, they never uttered it in the movies.
Kenner actually gave it that
all
name.
the toys. Yeah.
So
only
and
it's not called that
anymore. Now they've they basically went back because it's not really PC to call it that.
Right. It's a fire spray now.
The what?
Fire spray. FIRESPRAY.
That's supposed to be the model or something, right?
That's like the class. The class.
Yeah, like the other one was what would the Mandalorian fly? It was I forgot.
Oh,
it wasn't the name of the ship, but it was a type.
Razor
Crest was the name, but it had a name for the type of ship.
Yeah, there's a well, just like the Millennium Falcon's a YT 1300 or whatever the hell it is.
Exactly.
I don't know why I know that, but
why Serenity is a Firefly.
Exactly.
So, anyway, John, we know you love cats, buddy.
Yes,
we have this kind of inkling that you have. I don't want to call it a fetish. Is that another word that's going to get me?
No, I don't think fetish is bad. This conversation is going all over the place.
He has a slight obsession with the cat.
So, what did you think of the movie, Mary Beth? Rizzo said he didn't enjoy it, but then he does. How about you?
I didn't care for when it first came out, but I mean, I was only like 20, whatever. But now that I've actually had to research it and I understand what it was saying and what it was doing and why it had all the symbology in it that it had, it's a very smart movie. It's a very smart movie.
I still think it's entertaining.
It's entertaining
the action scenes are good. It's a bit gory, maybe a little bit more than
It's
it needed to
deliberately
be.
over the top gory.
Yeah.
That's on purpose.
Yeah.
So was
To
RoboCop.
desensitize
So
you.
Yeah.
Gore.
that's a Verhoeven.
It's even pretty violent for 97 when you think about it. People getting torn in half. That was the other stupidity part when the whole thing with Denise Richard Wyatt, it irritated me. After they crash and the bugs are, she gets a claw, whatever he'll
Take down her
pinch
shoulder.
her through her shoulder, and then like right after they pull it out of her, she's like fine. She's got the gun. She's holding the
Diz
rifle with two arms.
Diz
She's shooting. Like it didn't even bother.
Yep.
Diz kind of got it through the shoulder too, but it killed her. So I don't know, man.
No, it got two though. Because she got one
two.
through her middle, so you can see hers was a little bit more severe. But the thing is, Carmen should not have been just wandering around like she got a flesh,
like she was fine. Yeah. Right. She should have been bleeding out. She should have been bleeding out.
Exactly.
Diz, a lot of people say Diz is their favorite character, and I don't know why. I didn't care for either of those girls. They were both.
Diz was a better character, just because
they both failed the Bechdel test.
The what?
So there's a thing about women in movies.
Uh-oh.
I thought
Am I going to get demonetized for this?
No, not at all.
No, it's a thing. Go ahead. Yeah. Explain. So two women have a conversation
that does not involve a man.
Talking about a man.
It passes the Bechdel test. And at no point do either of these girls
No, but you know what?
Say anything that isn't related to the man character.
I don't know. Denise talks to her female captain.
She talks to her friend, about flying.
Flight shit.
How much? Well, yeah.
Not very much.
Just barely. But yeah, those women definitely exist to service.
They didn't talk a lot. They hated each other. Diz hated Carmen because Diz wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't even know his name. Rico. Johnny Rico.
Johnny Rico. Yeah. Which again in the book he is from Buenos Aires. He's South American. Latino.
If the movie would have you believe they were all from Buenos Aires, which means the world was kind of
white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting that. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point. Of course, we only saw them. Well, the whole high school, I guess. Yeah, the whole high school was very pale.
Very pale.
Very pale. So, the Blanche from the Golden Girls is your biology teacher.
Yeah, with the weird eyes and stuff. The weird goggle things on. I don't know if she was like supposed to be like blind or something. Because she was like walking with a cane and she looked like she was like burned or something.
She was blind and burned.
Yeah. So
all the teachers, a lot of the adults all had injuries because they were, as this movie said, been through the meat grinder.
Yep. They had served. And what they really don't, they barely touch on in the movie, but you get the idea. Michael Ironside's character is a indoctrination guy. It's his job in that class that he's teaching.
Yeah, he's the rah-rah.
Yeah.
Well, kind of the father implied that.
Right.
When Rico goes and says, I'm going to join the the infantry, whatever.
You've been listening to that. What's his name?
Oh, it's like they should do something about it. They shouldn't be recruiting out of high school or something like that.
Right.
So,
it's much clearer in the book.
Claims that that's not the case, but
look what he did. He went and enlisted.
Well, he enlisted to follow. He admits that he enlisted to follow Carmen.
He was chasing tail.
He was chasing her.
In the book, Rico is kind of doing the same thing. He's followed her into the building basically to prove that he was a good guy and he was going to enlist. And then there are literally 1,000 different jobs you can go into the military and do. And the last two items on the list are canine handler and infantryman. And Rico gets interviewed about how he treated his pet, his dog, and fails that test. And that's when it dawns on him that, wait a minute, the only job left is infantry. I guess I'm going into the infantry.
They kind of imply that. They don't talk about the dog, but they kind of imply that in the movie too. Like she gets pilot and the other guy gets
they great. And that's still a thing. I mean, there's still the ASVABs where you take a military exam and they get that. And that does qualify you for certain schools or disqualifies you for certain schools.
Yep, absolutely.
So, I mean, that still happens and it needs to happen because you can't have somebody with an IQ of 10 going to nuke school,
Right. Yeah,
So,
nuclear power school is no joke.
Yeah, those I'm saying those are I remember when I looked at the Navy, I qualified for some of that testing, and they were like, yeah, if you go to Duke school though, only 10% usually pass, and the rest end up cleaning the decks. So it was like kind of you better be really on your crap.
Yep.
So yeah, so that kind of goes. So that clearly they have a system. It's just that you have no choice. I think once you sign in that you're going to join, then
You're going to
they
do something. Yeah.
Whereas in our military, you can see what you can get and then go, yeah, I don't want to do that. So anyway,
Yep. Absolutely.
But yeah, clearly he was. I think they implied that he wasn't book smart with his 35%.
Yeah, it was implied he wasn't.
He
Smart.
was He was kind of dumb. He was a
And
jock.
at the end, he's just. It has like the saddest ending too. Like it's just.
Well, in the book, he eventually becomes Sky Marshal.
No, he ends up a captain with his own company. He ends up being Razchak's Roughnecks becomes Rico's Roughnecks.
Yeah, no. I thought in the. Are you sure? I thought I could have sworn
Absolutely.
in the book he ultimately the very they don't really cover in the book. They cover like almost in the prologue kind of thing. Like
no, well,
it goes on and
nope. The last part of the book is he goes back to the unit. They rename it Rico's Roughnecks, and his two sergeants that run the two halves of the company are Zim and his actual father. His father, after Buenos Aires got destroyed, decided to enlist and was a private just as Rico was going out to the fleet for the first time. And by the end of the book, he's a sergeant working for Rico as an officer.
Maybe I got that was in front of the subsequent films. I would have bet money that he eventually moves all through the ranks.
No, yeah. I think either the films or the animated or something shows him being like a Sky Marshal, but the book ends with him running.
I got it from. I thought it was in the book that they said eventually he moves up and he becomes Sky Marshal.
It ends with him as a captain running his own company. Razchak's Roughnecks becomes Rico.
Well, that's how the movie is pretty much. He's
right.
Lieutenant, so
yeah,
he's still just a cog in the machine. He's not.
I think it was
still in the meat grinder. I mean, to be honest about it, and then they're torturing bugs. They're torturing.
Oh, absolutely.
But they kind of imply that they made there was the propaganda at the very end of the film when they're giving the sign up. It was the ad to sign up, and they basically used all the characters,
right.
So they kind of implied that they were singled out as being heroes of the
which is why all the footage of them got shot, because that was the propaganda guys making the movie,
right?
But in the book it comes for full circle, because his father goes from being, you idiot, why did you sign up to the military, we've been living in this society so long, we don't need to have the vote, to serving under his son in an infantry company fighting the bugs. So that's another theme that runs through the book. Rico lacks a father figure the entire time, adopts various officers as a father figure, and then ends up with his own father under his command at the end of the book. Sorry, back to the book. Never mind.
They touched on that a little bit, because Zim obviously had it. For some reason, they never explained why Zim had to go from sergeant down to private just to.
Why you busting
actually
something?
Like why that made no sense. Like why would you take somebody with experience and make them a private? That didn't make any sense. But even if he was still a sergeant, he still outranked him. So.
Well, he probably got demoted for pinning that kid's hand to the backstop with the knife and breaking the arm of the.
No, there's a scene where he has a conversation with his commander, and he says, "I want to serve." He's like, "You realize you have to do that. You have to be a private."
I know, but it makes more sense that he got demoted for abusing all of his recruits.
I got the impression that seems to be part of boot camp.
That does.
I mean, he also broke the other guy's arm on day one.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, green stick fracture.
Yeah. So anyway, we are at the end of the hour. Believe it or not.
Really, that went fast.
It always goes fast.
That's true.
So anyway, if you're looking for a fun movie that just want to watch people getting,
I want to talk about Neil Patrick Harris more.
And Neil Patrick Harris, get Doogie Howser in there. It's not a bad movie. It's watchable.
Yep.
It's entertaining, and it does have messages, underlying messages for sure. But again, I think that's. If you don't have to, I don't think that's I don't take it as the focus. The film was just, it was just entertaining. And
like I said, it would have been a better, in my opinion, it would have been a better movie had they named it anything other than Starship Troopers. They could have made it exactly the same
it
film.
was born as a different name. It had a different name, and they changed it.
Right. And they could have left it that way, and it would have been great. And I would have loved it as much as I love it now if it had been disconnected from the book. They could have even kept all the same names. It wouldn't matter. Because
I do remember, though, it's funny because I do remember.
Called
Go ahead.
Bug Hunt at Outpost 7.
Oh, that's lame. That's a bad name. That's just not a good name.
Just another bug hunt.
That's a working title for sure.
Yeah.
I know I had read the book before I seen the movie. When I saw the movie, like you, I was going. But at first, I did see when I saw that it was Starship Troopers. I'm like, how the hell did they make this into a movie and make it interesting?
Yeah.
Really, like make it, that you weren't going to be like completely bored, because there's just no action in the book. Very little, almost none.
There's only 3 combat scenes in the whole book, and they basically just illustrate the fact that Johnny doesn't know what the hell he's doing and has to learn. But the book is definitely not an action adventure book.
No. Clearly, the book is pushing the political agenda way, way, way more than the movie does. So,
again, it wasn't put. I gotta stand up for Heinlein. That's not his politics. He wasn't pushing that. He said what Terry came to that kind of power.
Froze up there, by the way, when you started to say that. So,
so Heinlein wasn't saying that this is a good political thing. As a matter of fact,
no, I don't know. I didn't imply that that's what he was saying. It's just
people keep saying that.
It's not. It's not. What's the other guy? I don't know, the other science fiction guy that wrote that the whole religion's based on. I forget.
Oh, L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, it's not. We know it's not that. No, it's just like Orwell.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So
it's Orwellian.
It is very Orwellian. All right, what has Roy got and Phil got going on?
Roy did not post what he has, so we'll have to look at his website or his Facebook page later to find out what he's going to do. Phil has someone named Neil Alexander coming to Captain Phil's Planet tomorrow, who is a synth and keyboard player, and he'll be playing in New York City at a big gig next month. But Neil is also a huge Hitchhikers and Douglas Adams fan, so they are going to talk about the life, universe, and everything.
One of my favorite books, series of books of all time. Probably my favorite series of books.
42, baby.
It's 42. All right. I don't know what we're doing next week as usual, but we will definitely
now.
Yeah, it takes me a week to figure it out. Usually it's on Monday before I start going, what are we gonna do? So anyway, I'll try to be. I don't know. We got a lot going on. So, but we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on the Kickstarter. Please go over to there. And
share,
if you don't know the exact link, just go to Kickstarter.com and then put in the search Galileo. I guarantee it'll be like the first thing that comes up, and you can find it. And please, again, anything you guys can do to jump on board would be much appreciated. We really want
much appreciated.
Just a big piece of history that we need to get preserved properly. So, on that note, I will say good night. Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you always. Good night.
And also with you.